Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Comics. This is episode 3. Here with Matt, of course, my co-host, and we're going to be deep diving into some interesting stuff. And it's a very exciting episode. But I will say before we get into introductions and stuff, I did not watch Jupiter, so we're going to push that back. I had a very, very rough week, and a very rough and week with a sweet ending. It was like pie, like the crust was really hard and dry, but we got down to the meat of it, and it's great. I guess that's a meat pie at this point, since it's meat and pie. But anyway, how you doing, Matt?
I'm doing well, man. Another solid week. I know you had a fantastic end to the week, or 24 hours, we'll call it, give or take. Pretty much exactly 24 hours looking at the time. So kudos to you. But yeah, on this side, another awesome week. My daughter just turned 1 month yesterday, so I'm liking.
It's been a month already,
dude. That's what I said. That's what I said. And holding
Next
her.
thing you know, she's gonna ask for the keys to the car.
No, stop, stop. Not yet. I can't even. Oh God, college funds, cars. Oh no,
Yep.
no.
The boys.
No, she's gonna no. Anyway, no, we're not having that conversation, man. Comic books and video games and other things galore. Yeah. Before we go anywhere, chat, huge shout out to our boy Frank next to us, Technique. For those of you who don't know, as he said the other day, 2 weeks ago, he ballerina twirled, put his 2 weeks on his. I just knocked something over on his
pretty much how it happened.
Former employer's desk. He is now a full-time, amazing, awesome content creator here on Twitch. Can we get some round of applause or shouts from the crowd? Yay!
Thank you. Yeah, it's bittersweet. It's been 8 years of work and streaming. Long, hard road, but I'm a guy that preps for everything and put up emergency barriers just in case something goes wrong. But I've never been a go-getter, man. I'm gonna be honest. I stayed in my lane, so to speak. Now it's time to think outside the box. There's something Denzel Washington said in a talk he did for a college. Celebrities sometimes go and do the big talks for graduation. And he was talking about back in the day, the IQ test used to be a series of dots. I think it was like 9 dots or something. And you had to connect all the dots without lifting your pencil. And that's how they determined how good you were at IQ. But the way to do it was to to go outside the box, right? So hence the term "think outside the box" became a thing. I mean, IQ tests are a lot different now, but I think they did that with children. Children had the dots. It wasn't like adults. I mean, I guess some adults took the IQ test, but children would do that, and it was like, oh, this kid thinks outside the box. His IQ must be high. So it's now I'm trying to draw the line outside the box, and really be a go-getter. And if I fall, I'll fall forward instead of falling back on stuff,
Yep.
That's another point he made was like, I never like the sound of falling back or falling back on something or having something to fall back on, because that means you're going backwards. You always want to fall forward.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I went in on my last day and said, gave my little talk about what they need to do. There's a lot of work. They couldn't believe how much work I did. And I was just like, that just goes to show how much you guys just didn't pay attention.
They have no idea.
And I ran out of there, man. I ran out of there. I did my first TikTok and it was just me screaming, I'm free. And pretty much that's it. Posted a video about me going full time and
great
major
video,
support
by the
from
way.
everybody. I didn't expect it to be 90,000 people watching that video. I just wanted to tell people that supported me already, like, this is it. We're going to go down this road, and this journey is going to be a together thing, and we're gonna have fun with it, and do our best and stay positive. And communities that you build tend to they're not gonna let you fail. It's like parents, right? Like your parents might be hard on you and stuff, but they're not gonna let you be out on the street and be hungry if they got something to do with it. They're not gonna allow that stuff. If they're in goodwill. I know there's complications out there, but you know what I mean. So thank you everybody, and thanks Matt and everyone else for supporting me. And man, the sky's the limit now, or I don't even want to say the sky's the limit. There's no limit.
There is no limit. There's a whole outer space, universe. You're good. No, that was a really bad joke there. Anyway,
we're here to talk about comics and shows. We have some very interesting topics coming up. I have to say, I'm sorry. Like I said, I didn't get to see Jupiter stuff, so we're gonna hold on that and give it another week. I'll have time this time. I think. Things are starting to fill up pretty fast, but episode 3, everybody, and we're gonna just recap on the recent shows. I hope you watch Invincible.
Yes.
It's been weeks since it's been out, and like the full episodes, you know, we gave you plenty of time. So if you haven't watched Invincible, I'm sorry. You know, you might want to put some earmuffs on. Same thing with The Boys season 1. We're not going to go into season 2 or anything. We're not even going to go through a big like breakdown of everything. We're just going to like talk about how these shows are setting the bar and paving the way to comic books in general, and people that were interested or weren't interested, and how it's affecting them.
There we go. That's what we're going to be starting off with. I mean, I knew of Invincible going into the show. Did I read the comic books in the full series because it is out there, because it's been around for a couple of years now? No, but through people like Frank and others, a bunch of my friends, incredible. No pun intended. When I got into that first episode, even knowing, and the last episode too, even knowing you said you gotta, the last 10, 15 minutes of the first episode, the last 10, 15 minutes of the last episode, I still had no idea what I was in for, because it's an 8 season, which just got signed the last week for season 2, and not just season 2, season 3. A whole different take on anything I have ever watched superhero wise on TV. Yes, it is Amazon Prime, whether it's cartoon or live action, the storytelling, the way everything is drawn, how it's such a different take out of somebody just putting a cape on and a suit and flying around and saving. It's incredible. And don't get me started on Omni-Man.
Oh yeah,
it's such a good show, and I see a lot of people, thank you, a lot of people in chat already, check on The Boys and check on Invincible. Very happy that you've taken our recommendation and watched it. Good.
Yeah, Invincible. Wow. I mean, even down to the voice acting, because I don't even think half the people that in that series did like extreme voice acting before. I mean, granted, voice acting is acting. And some people even say it's even harder, because, you know, acting, you can be visibly in front of someone's face and you can express emotion without even delivering it verbally. And you can do like a lot of complex stuff that way, but voice acting, you have to deliver. And boy, did they deliver. What's his name? Steven Yeun?
Yes, Steven Yeun, I think.
Yeun, yeah, he did amazing.
Walking Dead.
His mark,
best known.
Wow. I mean, you know, I only knew him from Walking Dead. I think a lot of us got introduced to him. He did other stuff, but I think a lot of people got introduced to him in Walking Dead, and boy, did he turn on his like flair.
Turned it up to 11.
Acting in Invincible was better than Walking Dead acting, in my opinion.
It was really, really good. When you sat down and watched it and just watched Mark, you felt everything he was going through. Yeah. Like it was that impactful and that powerful. And you can't really say that about many, if any, shows of this nature.
Speaking of Walking Dead, will we ever get into those comics? Yeah, more than likely, yes. There will be a show in the future planning about comics outside of superheroes, because those exist.
Oh man,
and we're gonna go into that. We're definitely gonna. Walking Dead comics are oh boy, those are out there, man. You're talking about something that's dark. Yeah, we're gonna go down that path. We're probably gonna save it
with
more
Power
towards
Rangers.
More towards fall, you know, so we can get into the Halloween spirit and stuff. But back to Invincible. First episode. When you guys watched it, how many of you were like jaw dropped on the ground at the last bit of it? Because you know what's really good? The internet was really, really good about not saying what the hell was going to happen.
Yeah,
they were just like, "You're in for some," and then everybody was just like, I was like watching. I was like, "Oh, this DC is great. Okay, all right, cool. I can get into this." You know, wife was like half asleep. The moment we heard, we're like, "What?" Like it wasn't even that. I mean, even in the beginning, people were dying.
Oh,
you know, and like I was like, people are dying. Like there's blood. Like there's blood here. But the last bit of that, whoa! I was like, okay. Normally you would wait till like episode 2 or 3, you know, maybe even 4 to introduce like the plot twist. But damn,
no, they went
out with a bang
in the
they
most
like, here, this is what you're in for.
Crazy way.
Yeah, and they dealt with so much stuff. They dealt with murder. They dealt with lies and just a complete turnaround of events, sex, everything. You name it, it was in it. And this is what I would expect out of a Netflix original, not an Amazon Prime.
Yep.
You know, and it's really cool because now I'm like, dude, Amazon is trying to compete with Netflix now on all bases. This is great. You know, because I mean, Castlevania on Netflix is just absolutely killing it right now. Kind of sad
that's coming to an end.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, the same. But I think it's a good spot for them to stop.
Yeah, and I mean they're starting something fresh. Not to get off topic, but they're starting something fresh with the He-Man series, which I am a huge fan. I really hope they take it dark, man.
I really hope they take it dark. Same thing with Thundercats. Thundercats was meant to be dark. You know, a lot of these, and that's kind of what we're gonna like changing into. Like Invincible and the Boys kind of like shook it up. You know, it's like, and they're not the first ones to shake it up. Spawn was really, I want to say, the first one on TV to shake it up, and you had to be on HBO with a subscription to watch that bad boy because it was dark. That thing was in what was the rating back in the NC-17 or something like that back in the day?
Yeah, that was the one above R was not rated
one above R, right below porn.
basically, yeah.
It had sex in it. It had everything in it, and I mean, it was a movie. And it was great. I loved it. It was so gory. And didn't see an Invincible. And if you guys got to the last episode, who talking about gore? Good Lord. You know, so
there's so many integral things with that last episode, like some pieces that I've talked about last week with just how Omni-Man was. I mean, we already said earmuffs and spoil what Omni-Man was doing with his son and just really showing he doesn't care. It's his one choice and one being. Like I brought up last week, it's something small. Like if he actually cared, when he brought Mark to the bottom of the ocean going through the cruise liner, he could have went up through the same way. He didn't care. He went up and destroyed the other half of the ship, like killing whoever else. It's those pieces that make you go, oh shit. Like this is
there was a lot there, dude. I say we break down the last episode maybe next week.
Okay.
Because that's a lot. I could literally probably spend half the show talking about that. But let's say the overall buildup of the show. So you start off with a kid it was a shonen. It was a shonen in anime because you start off with a kid that's powerless, right? And doesn't have nothing and wants to be something.
My dad.
Yeah, dad is the most powerful thing in the world, so to speak, or on Earth at least. Because I don't know if dad's more powerful than that lion dude. Because damn. And you know, I can't wait for season 2 because we're not done with him. But anyway, you know, he starts off with normal. You think he's normal. You think everything's normal. You find out that his dad is Omni-Man, and you know, after episode 1, you're just like, oh shit, what is gonna go? How is Mark gonna go down the same path? And he gets his powers, and the way his dad is reacting to him getting his powers. You can tell everyone talks negative about Omni-Man. Omni-Man is not the real villain of this story, honestly.
True.
But he. Now I understand after seeing everything why he had that reaction, because you thought he would be like super proud of him getting his powers, but since he got his powers, it's like, oh crap, now I have to bring him into my world.
Yep.
You know,
Omni-Man was playing this part. You know, he's already lived everything else that he talked about at the end. He's playing this part, and everything he said at the end, you go back and think of all these things that are happening in the first episode where, you know, he'll be 18, he'll get these powers or something like that. He says, you know, you're a late bloomer or something like that. And it's because he really, I think in essence, he doesn't really want his son to get these powers because of the things he said at the end.
Yeah, and it's really weird, right? Because it's like it's an internal battle that he's been dealing with the whole time. He knows his mission, right? And he's been born and bred for this mission. It's all he knows. And he did not expect to come to Earth and fall in love with a human.
Yeah.
Or have a baby. He didn't expect that, but he was just like, you know what? He was like the pet, not his wife, because she had to teach him how to love and care and value life, because to him everything is so puny. You know, this is my son, he should knock the ball to Saturn, you know, type thing, when it comes to baseball or whatever, or softball, whatever he was playing. And you could see that, and then he's starting to crack. He started to crack, and he was cracking, and he's enjoying the life he had, because he was thinking, I live for hundreds of years, centuries, I don't have to deal with, You know, if they die, they die, but I can at least enjoy it for now, you know? And when you can see the destruction inside of him once Mark gets his powers, you know, and his mom is like, this is great. And he's like, yeah, okay. You know, and oh my God, I died laughing. I don't know how many people you laughed when he punched his son. He's like, yeah.
Oh my God, that was great. I was
laughing so hard.
That was perfect. The way that they talked, like the way it was leading up to it, and he just went in. He's like, oh, it was so good.
It was
hilarious.
Like, I thought it was so good. The voice acting was so good on that. I laughed so hard because the way he did it. But a lot of people. One thing I want to talk about is a lot of people are hating on the girlfriend. So they called her the real villain. Like, what?
No, really?
Yeah, a lot of people are just like, Omni-Man's not the real villain. She is. You know, the real villain is the system, and I think that's what they're trying to, you know, they're trying to convey. Is every system is broken, and what's his name? Cletus? What's his name? Cletus? Or I forgot the guy that can teleport's name.
Cecil.
Cecil. That's it. Cecil.
Yeah.
Even Cecil is like one of my favorite characters.
Oh, he was fantastic throughout.
He knew the system was broken. He knew everything was broken, but he's like, it's what we have to do. I hate this, but it's what we have to do, because what's important to us is life on Earth. What's important to him is not this, you know, and we have to do what we have to do. And I was really fighting for this not to happen, you know, and you could tell that he has so much love for Omni-Man and everybody else. The relationship between Omni-Man and the seamstress dude, the guy that make the suits, that was touching.
Speaking about amazing voice actors, I mean, that's Mark Hamill. I mean, literally, if you look at the voice cast for this show, I have never seen a cartoon, an animation, have this much power behind it. I mean, obviously, you got Mark Hamill, you have Seth Rogen, you have Jillian Jacobs, Sandra Oh as the mom, Zachary Quinto as Rudy. I mean, I never get this guy's name right, and I apologize.
I always call him JJ Jameson.
No, yeah, I said that last week. No, Jijom Hosu, the Emperor. Man. You know what, the guy from Guardians? Yeah, I just can't think of his name. But like, such an amazing cast. I mean, obviously Clancy Brown's voice is amazing as well, and you don't think about that when you're going through this, and it's really an ode to obviously Amazon taking this seriously and leading us up to whatever is going to be next, not just from this series, but whatever else is going to be coming around the pipe to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's that whole show was just, I loved every character in that show. Every character, and it's really hard for me to even say that sometimes with like even Marvel animations or definitely DC animations, you know, because I hold those at such a high standard. But man, the twins, I want to say the twins, but the clones, dude, they were freaking rad. I loved that they were big, brawly, brute, smart guys. That was dope.
That was a cool play on it. Yep,
dope, hella dope. Even the dude that's powers that suck, the one that throws coins and explode them. I loved his acting though. Oh my God, his voice lines are hilarious. You know, everybody and everyone in the one, we're gonna kind of transition into we're gonna go back and forth between things. The weaknesses of the characters were freaking amazing. They had some great weaknesses, like Monster Girl's like ability, like her
on getting younger. That's very interesting how they
really
how that
cool,
came
man.
through.
Every time she uses her power, and she's like, I de-aged a week because I used all his power, you know. And man, oh my God, when she got beat up, that lion dude was brutal, bro. You know,
Battle Beast, whole scene in the tower, going back and forth and Invincible, kind of recognizing and realizing almost his limitations where he is right now. And Battle Beast kind of like, you know what? I'm the Thanos here, kind of almost, where he's like, I'm
tired.
You know what? I'm tired of this. I'm out.
Call me when there's a challenge. Text me when it's a challenge.
Good.
I love that they have. I don't even want to call Battle Beast a villain. I love that they have characters that are way more powerful than the main character. And you know, me like in anime a lot. I hate that in anime. Well, I love it in comics because it's character development and growth. I was feeling like this show was going too fast at one point. Because of episode 1.
I feel that.
You know, I loved it, but I was like, damn, we didn't. Okay, like, you know,
we're here now.
Force feeding me. But now I was just like, give me more, you know, and like Battle Beasts, that whole series, and God, I really hate how they portrayed the black guy. I forgot his name. The dude that you thought you were helping.
Stone?
Yeah.
The Stone guy? Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say hate. Hate's a strong word. I didn't like it at first. I understand his motivation is his family.
Samson?
That's all he.
Is that him or is that someone else?
Titan.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the motivation that, you know, he's doing this for his family.
Yeah.
But
the little girl.
I don't know if his wife been in on it the whole time, or like the fact that his daughter. It was a bit.
It's a hole.
Like,
There's
damn.
a hole there.
Yeah, and that he ended up being the real boss of things, and like it was a whole setup the whole time, not only for Mark, but it was more of a setup for the dude. I forget their names. It's been a while since I watched it, but the guy with that can upload crap in his head.
Yep.
Cranium or whatever his name is. I don't know if I like that, and it's not a knock on the show. It's just like, I understand he's the next big bad and all that stuff, and it was kind of sweet. His daughter's like, "Daddy, we living here now," you know. It was kind of cute, but at the same time, it was just like, I felt like there should have been more there. That felt very force fed to me. It was like a filler almost to me, to where they needed something to like bridge a gap to show Mark's ability to. I know what they were doing. They're playing on our heartstrings because Mark cared for this guy because he felt like he was doing the right thing.
Right thing.
Yeah. And then it led up to the end episode of Omni-Man saying, "You're fighting for the wrong people here. These people don't give a shit about you."
Yeah.
And it kind of like full circled. And I thought Mark was gonna be like, "You know what, Dad? You're right." You know, but I mean, of course he's not, because he's made to be a himbo. But at the end of the day, it's just like, damn, why was that force fed to us? We could have lived that out a little bit. Also, I don't understand Adam and Eve role in the show.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I'm kind of like, she was kind of boring. I liked that she ended up being a therapist at the end for Mark.
True.
You know, a relationship therapist at that. And I was just kind of like, if she wasn't, because I always ask the question, if this character wasn't in the show, would you miss them? I'm like, hell no.
Yeah.
Like
it would have been. I mean, obviously, you and I, or it's been a while for you. I don't know, because I didn't ask you the question. We didn't read the comics, so we're seeing it as just specifically viewing it as what we're watching, 8 episodes. Now, they could just have been trying to throw so much stuff in there to try to get to season 2 and season 3. So there are those points like Adam and Eve. Like, was it actually very necessary to put them in at that specific juncture? They could have probably waited a little bit longer, because I mean, like someone actually just said in chat, you know, future Battle Beast scenes are going to be so good.
Well, I don't know anything.
Yeah, like so the first thing is, when you talk about a lot of things going on, right? Like, you have at the beginning, Mark figuring out, you know, not figuring out, he knows who he is. He looks up to his father. You see the relationship to his mother, how much he really, really loves him, when they sat down on the patio or porch or whatever it is outside, where they call each other asses for not listening or listening, which I thought was hilarious. That was a real world conversation I would have with my mom. Right. But like, you got that, you got the dad figuring out what's happening at the end and why he starts doing it. You have the Battle Beast, you have the whole syndicate of villains and bad guys. And then you have, you know, Omni-Man at the end. You already had 4 massive storylines right there already happening, with everything else being thrown into 8 episodes.
Yeah, that's true. But all of it made sense but Adam and Eve to me. Because in the beginning, she saves Mark's ass. Great. And she trains him how to fly. But then that was already taken by Omni-Man. You
already got that in the first episode, where it's like, clear your mind, you know?
Yeah, it's reflexes. And then she's a relationship therapist. Then she falls in love with Mark randomly. And then she goes back to the other dude. And
everyone loves Mark.
It was too much with her. And I felt like they were just kind of like, just having her there. And I was like, she could have not been in it at all. Or she could have just been one of the other superheroes or the heroes, you know? And she could have been off to the side. She could have been a side chick like everybody else, like multiple girls. I found her Multicate, which I loved her name.
Yeah.
I found her way more interesting than Adam and Eve.
She was a cool character. You know,
and in my twisted mind, I was like, man, I wonder how it is to have sex with multiple Kate or Multicate. Is it would you know, like, and they answered it. I was just like, yes. Because I mean, it's it's an adult show at the end of the day. That's what it is. And
yes, it is.
I was like, how are they going to touch on that? Like, there's multiple girls. What's going to happen? And like they did it. And I was like, yes, that's how I would think that superheroes in the modern day would do stuff, you know, like, anyway.
Duplicate and Adam Eve. Yep. Yeah, we reach
Adam Eve, whatever. Duplicate again was way more interesting. Beast Girl was way more interesting.
Beast Girl was once again, that was an awesome character as well.
Yeah, all those characters were way better. Robot, I really liked. I really liked his story.
Yeah, coming in at the end and how you had to transfer his essence, and just that was really interesting story.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really care for Adam Eve for season 2 and 3. So I hope they do fill that gap that I have with that. I was even more interested in Mark's best friend over Adam Eve. I thought he was hilarious. I think he was that comedy relief that we needed during like really strenuous moments. That storyline went somewhere and played a really big part in the story overall. Thought that was great. How they took somebody and used his, instead of just throwing away somebody that was doing some really effed up stuff, they like used him, and I thought that was really good. I thought it was really good. Yeah, she could be. Yeah, exactly. She could have been saved. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to like getting at. Like, I feel like because they didn't know where season 2 or season 3 would happen if it would happen, they tried to throw like the like I said, because we haven't read the comics, she could be very integral, and they wanted to hit that point, like she was going to be part of this. Like it could have been that thing. They could have thrown some people in there, but going through the 8 episodes this first season, it's kind of like one of those points like, why?
Yeah, because she was a love triangle. She wasn't even in a triangle. She was like the love side chick.
The love side chick, yeah. Third wheel.
I hate how they portrayed her in that way, because I thought, she's really powerful, dude. I mean, the stuff that she can do is, girl can bend atoms. I mean, that's
pretty OP.
Anything to me, that's more powerful than Mark at the moment, you know? And so I'm just like, okay, she has really cool powers. But she was a side chick. She was there for Mark when he couldn't get in touch with his girlfriend. That was she wasn't a sidekick. She was a side chick. And I think that's kind of like, I don't know. It kind of like wears down on me a little bit. And then they literally broke away from like key moments with Mark and his dad for her. And she's doing nothing. She's doing boring stuff. She's crying in her bed, bro. I'm done. Like, argue with your parents. You're creating doors on your house. All right, that's cool, man. Just get out of there for a second. You know, just let us be like, what happened to Adam Eve? And then bring her up. Then I would have been like, oh, okay, cool. You know, but anyway. I guess she had to be introduced with the team, but a little bit later. Covered a lot of stuff in the first. Yeah, exactly. She could have been like, there was way more serious stuff going on than having to deal with spots of her family problems.
You know what's going to be interesting now that we know, and now that they know, they have 2 more seasons to flesh things out. Watching season 2, if it's 8 episodes, 10 episodes, or whatever it is, and same thing with season 3, the feel of how the story progresses through those 2 seasons compared to the first, it's actually an interesting thing to go back on. Like how is the pacing different? How is each episode different? What is the major storyline? Because I feel like it's gonna feel, even though this was fantastic, written and drawn and just acted, obviously, which we bring up again, there was things like we're talking about with Adam Eve, how it feels like it was thrown in and kind of rushed and pushed. How it's gonna change differently for these next 2 seasons. That's kind of an exciting piece to think about.
Mark better get strong. I think they need to like really show his development as he's been weak this whole damn season.
The crazy thing is we know the end game. I mean, I think it's safe to say that we kind of know the end game with how his father was acting. I don't think it's negative. And please, no spoilers in chat. This is just pure guessing on my point. Yeah. But like, if we saw how crazy bad this just was this season with killing and everything, what do you call them? His race? I can't. Ventori, not Ventorians.
Omnibites? No, not Omnibites.
Something the V, right?
Yeah, Venomites or
Venomites. There we go. So you know that they're eventually
Veltramites. That's it.
You know that they're gonna eventually, the Veltramites are eventually gonna find their way to Earth. Yeah. So who's gonna protect them if Omni-Man just beat the ever living poop out of his son? He needs to get stronger, Mark. But those two people, because there's people more powerful than him. He was just a soldier. Like, we know where it's going. How are we going to get there? That's going to be an insane story to get to.
It better be more than 7 episodes.
At least I think so. Yeah.
It got to be more than 7 episodes, because here's the deal. Like, Mark not only has to get strong, he has to get mentally strong.
Yes, both physically and mentally.
That, he has to realize that people are going to die. His dad is right. Like, his dad is 100% right. As superheroes, that's a risk you take. When he punched his kid to Chicago, he knocked him across the world, and he ran into that building. That building was going to fall on people. He was like, "Look, that could have been prevented."
Yeah. Oh, dude, in the arm.
You know a way to prevent that? You know, but why? But he's like, but why? You know, why? Why would you risk yourself for these puny people that break, even if you look at them sideways? You know, and I mean, his dad is kind of right. Also, who says that those people are going to be thankful? And that's another thing. His dad was like, these people don't give a crap about you. Yeah. You should give a crap about them. They're not even going to be worth anything. They're going to all die anyway. Like, I mean, he's right, but that doesn't make him an evil person. It's just how he was raised. And Mark doesn't make him a bad, because he was raised to care.
Yep.
You know, his mother played the biggest part in raising him. His dad was being taught. It was being raised as well. She raised 2 boys and 2 men at the end of the day.
One of them is crazy.
And I love the fact that he got his ass whipped by his father. Like I said, the anime lover in me wanted Mark to like Super Saiyan power up and fight back. Well, boy, I'm glad Omni whipped his ass. Because Mark needs an ass whooping. Mark needs that. I love how they portray ass whoopings in this series, because that's the learning process. You know, I always say if I was a superhero, I'd probably mess up big time, you know, and make mistakes thinking I'm doing the right thing. And Mark has a lot. And I think the beating was more mental than it was physical. And
it was physical, but it also was mental. Yeah.
It was very mental, because now he knows he has a long way to go, right? Like, he thought he was invincible, but he is quite the opposite. And that we'll kind of transition into weaknesses. That's something we want to talk about, how weaknesses are more important than superpowers when it comes to superheroes, because weaknesses define you, not only as a superhero, but as a person or alien or whatever you are. Because Mark's weakness is very clear. Very, very clear. He's very immature and he wears his heart on his sleeve way too much. And that's something his dad was trying to beat into him.
Yeah.
Also his mom in a different way. And sometimes the truth hurts. And I think that was the message of the whole show, is like, the truth hurts. Sometimes you have to make decisions that you may think are right or not right. And everything has a consequence.
I love how and it's coming from a cartoon series of superheroes, how they grounded everything, the discussions, the talking, it very much was like if I was sitting down and talking to my mother, going back to that point in I think it was the first or second episode, where he sat down at the back and he was having a real like discussion with his mom after he tried to land and just fell flat on the ground. Like, their discussion was very like Weird World, like a conversation I would have with my mom. And then when he doesn't hold back Omni-Man at the end, telling him about like, you're nothing, you're young, I'm always essentially going to be able to beat you because I'm older than you and I'm stronger than you because of that. You're half of Ultramite. So, or Viltrumite, excuse me, it's an I. Viltrumite, like, that's already a weakness for you. They're going to see you as a weakness. Your mom is my pet or a pet. Like, the way that they brought that in, when we talk about the darks, that hit, like, my jaw was on the ground. The line that hit me was,
what was it? He's like, you're nothing. He's beating the shit out. He's like, I'll just make another one. What's 17 years to me?
Oh, whoa, my God, dude.
Whoa. And then at the end, he was like, what do you have left? He was like, you, Dad. Oh. I was done for me. I was done.
The
I was like,
flashback. Oh my God.
The writers, they did it. They got me. Oh my gosh. Because I was hating Omni-Man for not loving his son.
Yeah.
I was really hating him for that. But when they showed, I love the twitch in his face when he like realized that this is his offspring.
Yeah.
He's realizing that some things are in life that's more beautiful than conquest.
But did he not love his son?
No, he loved him.
Yeah, but okay, yeah.
At some point, you asking it. Yeah. At some point, he just thought that he was just like weak.
I mean, that 17-year line is still fantastic.
Yeah, that was hard.
Sadistic.
What did I mean by they were trying to destroy Mark's blood? Yeah, they were trying to find a way to kill Omni-Man. So if they can find a way to destroy Mark's blood, they have a key to destroying Omni-Man. And then they realize only a Viltrumite can kill a Viltrumite.
Yep.
So that. But yeah, there were some key moments. Like I said, we'll break down the last episode next week. Give you guys some chance to watch it. But there's some key moments. That episode was a make or break for me for Invincible. Even though I enjoyed it, I was like, how are they gonna wrap this up? How are they gonna make me want to hunger for more? And boy, did they do it! Wowzers! But anyway, back to weaknesses. Every superhero vigilante has a weakness. And I find the weaknesses. Everybody has mental weakness. Nobody is safe from that. So does that make psychic powers like the most scariest thing? I think so. Wanda having chaotic magic. She could whisper a thought in your head and make it real. Ugh, that's scary. Professor X, you have Dark Phoenix, you have all these people that have these psychic powers. That's the scariest thing, because you're already mentally torn, right? We're already mentally destroyed inside. We have to think about so many things every day, but the weaknesses make the thing. So when we ask you guys, what powers would you have? Like I think we asked that a couple weeks ago. Someone said teleportation. We're like, okay, what's your weakness? That you don't know where you're going, that you have to see the place before you teleport to it. Stuff like that. What if they build, I don't know, God forbid, a train station where you teleport all the time and whoop, something happens. So it's like all those things. That's why I'm really loving where comics are going now, because they're starting to exploit those weaknesses. The Boys.
Oh man, please watch Jupiter this week. Speaking of teleportation. I will. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
The Boys. The Boys play on weaknesses and also powers and how it's used in everyday life. I mean, just that first episode. It's powers of speed. It's not like the Flash. Like, you see what happens if you're off your game, if you're in that specific instance cracked out. If
God, that's so good.
You're gonna blow through somebody, literally.
Well, you know what his big weakness was?
Ego.
Aging.
Oh, aging and ego.
Aging and ego, of course, but aging was his biggest flaw, because though he could run fast, the aging of the body still is a thing.
Yep.
And in some instances of the Flash, even I believe I can't remember what comic it was, but he was breaking the speed barrier and all that stuff, but he was aging.
Yep.
While doing it, and you can see that that's a problem. Your knees give out, your joints give out, you're not as fast as you used to be. There might be another speedster out there, but the funny thing about it is, the biggest twist, the plot twist in season 1 of The Boys is they were manufactured superheroes.
Yep.
Damn. What a wake-up call. You're not special. You were experimented on for money. And the conversation between, I forgot the chick's name that can create lights and stuff, her mom, that was effed up. That was an Omni-Man Mark situation, where the mom just sold her to experimentation and get money because she just wanted some. It was a lot of money.
What do you mean it was a lot of money? Yep.
This is a church-going girl, like that they were very religious, and I love the fact that they really sat on that.
Yeah,
she was super religious, and everything that they was telling her was right, and everybody cared for her. And at the end of the day, people were just as shady. I love that. It's a real world. It's a real world, man.
I'm trying to remember back to some of the things with the Boys and how you can actually cross a lot of parallels between some of the characters in The Boys and Invincible. Obviously, there is a huge difference where, if not all, majority of the characters in Invincible are given these powers through like birthright and genes and everything like that. Where with the boys, I mean, like you said, I mean, if you had money, you can give yourself, you're not yourself, but like you're giving a baby powers, your children powers, and how that affects them mentally was insane. I mean, you just look at the difference between Homelander and take a difference.
Oh God, he is mentally jacked up, dude.
I mean, it's the best character on the series.
Yeah, he is jacked up. I honestly think, Infinite Crisis,
Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yep.
Yeah. I believe that's the one. Man, I still believe that there is a real superhero in the boys, that they're just being harvested. At least I hope they're going that route.
You're saying there is a Iron Man, there is a Spider-Man, there's a Superman.
Well, not an Iron Man, maybe like a mutant of some sort, or somebody with a gene, like an X gene or something, and they're just being harvested and manufactured and then sold because the government's corrupt, selling it to other countries to get money to create wars that also breed more money. And man, that's something that I'm starting to hear a lot in a lot of plots, is that wars create money, because with wars become famine, just people just buy up things. You mentioned a pandemic, everybody's gonna buy up everything in the store. It's a good way to get people to get. I mean, Y2K was one of those things back in the day, back in our days.
It was.
It was. People went out and bought everything off the storefront, and the inventory flew. Didn't matter when it was going bad or not. People bought it, and that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And so it's just they dealt with that, and they're manufacturing and mass producing these super serums, so to speak, and doing what they have to do with them and creating wars. And it's very clear that what's his face, Homelander is figuring he's figured all this stuff out.
Yep.
Because he was lied to. And my God, season 1, I don't know what to say about Homelander. I mean, but the fact that he's figuring this out and he's not stopping, he's like, you know what? I can run this ship. I'm powerful. I love that. I love that he figured out that
literally
I don't have to listen to
nothing any of you can do to me to tell me to do otherwise.
Except the big dude. The big boy, like CEO man, which that was very interesting to me, because I was like, he's like, what, you're going to kill me? Then another one will rise and own you too. I was like, okay.
You're always going to be owned. Right. Might as well keep me as an ally instead of a villain.
He was so calm. I don't know. Soldier Boy could be the one being harvested. And Shackles is going to play him in season 3. Yeah, that is true. Maybe.
With the heroes and how they're manufactured, though, there was the interesting point at the end of the season, though, where that child wasn't manufactured.
What, the baby that they were holding up and shooting laser beams and stuff?
Homelander's baby with.
Oh yeah, because
I'm trying to remember, and chat, correct me if I'm wrong, and obviously you as well. Like, we've only seen essentially, I think in the series up to that point, adult superheroes, right? So I wonder if that baby, not knowing anything really about future.
We've seen the kid grow up. He didn't show any powers, did he? He's not grown up, but the kid's like a teenager, like a preteen or something, like 10 years old.
Preteen, but I think at the end, maybe I'm thinking about season 2 then, but we have a child there that could then, let's say, potentially have powers that was half human and half Homelander.
I think that's when you pass it down, that becomes, we don't know what this drug actually does to the body. I haven't really gone into detail. We just know it's a drug. Maybe it rewrites something, or maybe you pass it along. Maybe it's genetic, and that's why I believe that somebody was harvested for that to happen. Because a drug, just because somebody, I don't know, sniffs cocaine constantly doesn't mean they're gonna pass it on to the kid, unless the kid's in the womb or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like a dad, I love cocaine, it's so great, and he has sex. The kid ain't gonna come out a pile of cocaine, So I like your heart. I honestly think it's a harvested thing that actually mutates genes in your body or something. I mean, it has to, right? It's completely changing the makeup of a person.
Yeah, it could be like we said. You're talking about wars and government, right?
Yeah.
The United States needed money. They hired this firm that could figure something out because they had somebody, and they're using it kind of like as a super soldier serum to essentially hire out and make money and create war and against people. Okay, so you got your own superheroes. Now overseas, we're making our own superheroes somehow that explode right at the first episode, and we're all making money out of it now.
It makes so much sense because what was the guy's name? The dude that's the fast runner. Got his name.
I gotta remember
Black
these
Lightning
characters. What is it? The
name?
Boys cast.
I don't know that guy. So they pit him against the other dude. A-Train. That's right. A-Train. How can I forget? They put him against the other dude, and it's kind of like a small scale, like 360 thing. It's like what sells media is like A-Train being the fastest person, but what if there's a faster person? Will A-Train it was back and forth, and if that guy beat A-Train was done. Yeah, so he had to take the drug to get faster, and his brother was telling him, "Nah, man, it's not how we do things. We train." So it's I like this. I liked A-Train's character. I hated him, but I did like his character because there was a lot there, man. There was a lot there, and I love seeing the behind the scenes with the superheroes. That one place they walked through, and there was people like doing nasty stuff with their superpowers. I was just like, bro.
It's like, oh, we're here now. Okay. Yeah,
I guess a person that can stretch their limbs would be doing stuff like that. I don't know.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right.
And then the girl that got turned on by stuff and she got stronger. That was
God.
Creepy. There were so many interesting things, but I think The Boys is very important to the comic universe in general. Especially when you're bringing the reality into play. Because I would rather see those type shows be live action. No knock on Marvel stuff, which I kind of want to hit on Venom too. Because I'm a Marvel head, but I will have to say I'm not impressed with Venom 2 at all. I'm not impressed with it. I mean the visuals of Carnage look great, but anyway, I'll get there. But the realization of it all and like answering the question, how would it be if superheroes were real? I think The Boys does a really, really, really good job. Really good job at saying, yeah, they would be screwed up. They would do stupid stuff. You might have your people that have morals, but morals only go so far.
Yeah, and when you're on the other side of the fence as a hero, you're going to use whatever you can to get what you need to do. I mean, this is what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. I mean, if I was a hero, having my family out there, because there's no way I'm going to be able to keep my identity secret. It's just the day and age in the world that we live in. I'm never going to be able to just see as Nighthawk. Everyone is going to be able to see my family behind me and whatnot. People will put the dots together. Like, you're going to use that to come against me to get what you want. And I think that was a bunch of cool twists and plays and motivation for some during that first season of The Boys.
Yep. I agree. But yeah, just like you said, Lars, Boys is exactly what would happen in modern day America, commercialized and corrupt.
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely. I mean, just think about walking down the street and someone calls you a racist name or a bad name. That person would die. I mean,
would you be able to have that self-control to keep it into you?
Right.
If you had laser beams coming out of your eyes.
I wouldn't know my strength. If I had superhuman strength and someone said that to me and I'd just be like, what'd you say? And I just grab them and jerk them. You could snap their neck. The reality that you're not knowing your limitations because the powers are brand new, and that's like some kind of fairy tale stuff that they put in these comics and show these the animations. And even in the movies is that these people have powers and they instantly know their limitations. They can pull punches, but shoot, Spider-Man when he hits Flash Thompson in the comic for the first time, he should have spun that dude's head around 4 or 5 times. Honestly.
Right? Because at that point, how does he know to even control his powers too, which is another part of it? He don't
even know how to web sling, for God's sake. He punched. I mean, he was angry. When Spider-Man Spider-Man can punch a hole in somebody. We already know that. But my God, he just punched Flash Thompson so hard. And I was like, that dude's head is going to spin off his shoulders. Nope. Oh, Peter, what are you doing? No, what? He should be dead. Game over. This dude's a superhero. Hello. So it's like, how do they do it? So I love, that's why I love The Boys. And I really hope that other series comes out because The Boys does have lull periods where I'm kind of like, I don't feel like watching, so
actually, that's a great
question. They need
to
do a better job with that.
I mean, obviously something that we got to look into as well too. But what is outside of Invincible right? And Jupiter's Legacy to some extent, and of course the boys that we're talking about. Chat, you know, what are some other, for those of you that have been into comic books, and we're actually going to talk about some comic books at the end of the episode as well. What are some comic book series out there that you could think of similar to these, that kind of give that grittiness, that kind of give that real world talk about these things out there? Because it's not just all, as you can see, about Marvel and DC. There's all these other areas, either self-published or through IDW, through Dark Horse, through whatever it is, that give you these stories that are gripping and make you have these conversations.
Yeah, I really can't think about it. I mean, I Spawn, like Image Comics Spawn, like the original.
Yeah, but that's like, isn't that dark compared to, I hate using it, but like real world thoughts, like the way it's being portrayed, because like I think of Marvel and Ghost Rider, for instance. Like, that's dark and he can do some crazy stuff, but that's still not like real world and how a conversation or how something would happen, for instance, in The Boys or Invincible.
I mean, there's some effed up stuff that happened in Spawn.
No, yeah, like, yeah, I mean, it's Spawn, yeah.
And then like his motivation behind who he is.
Okay, yep, that is true.
You know, there's a little drive there. We talking about old, you know, Top Cow has some old stuff that has some drive, but Top Cow was very fantasized, you know, versus, you know, modern day comics. Let's see, not a comic book series, but Reckoner's books, Steelheart, Firelight, Calamity, those books where people get powers, but the powers corrupt them. Yeah. God, DC. What's his name? Man, my brain is drawing a blank today. Let's see. Boys and Invincible are for sure the best. Something a little more out there, but kind of dark and kind of real world would be East of West. Oh, I haven't turned that. I need to check that out then.
The more we know, chat, the more we know.
Yeah, you know, it's the definition of hero versus villain is a very important concept, because I think the DC series Joker, Killing Joke, and like all of those really harped on who is the real villain, what is a villain, and what the villain is only what each person envisions. So there is no real hero or villain, because if you break it down, villains, the real vile villains kill people.
Yep.
Heroes kill people because in the line of trying to protect someone else always dies. And that was a big thing in the Civil War, was that we protect one, but we're losing many. You know, sometimes you go for that one protection, you're trying to protect this one person or stop this one person, you end up killing hundreds in the process, or damaging hundreds of dollars, thousands, millions of dollars of property. And you may or may not capture this person. Does it make you just as bad as the villains? You know, not taking the right course of actions, not going through a ladder system. You know, as a superhero, do you really wait to see if justice could be taken in the hands of the police? Not this police that we have in this world today. Hell no. You know, it's like, what do? Do you fight the police? Then you're looked at as a villain.
Yep.
Even though they're probably the ones that are the villainous, you know? So it really comes down to, that's why I really like Joker and Batman, because they honestly go back and forth and saying, like, when Joker tells Batman, you are me, we are one, and there is nothing you can do about it. And the realization that Batman gets extremely pissed off about it and beats Joker to every inch of his life, and Joker just sits there and laughs and say, you are me. What makes us any different? And Batman drops him and walks off, bro. That was a real moment in comics right there.
Yeah.
And every kudos to that.
Being able to take it to that level was one of the most fantastic reads, and seeing it too as well was incredible. But yeah, it's by becoming a superhero, you are becoming a villain, because you're starting to do things and taking things into your own hands, unless you sign up to the government, or you're part of your local police force or the army or something like that. And at that point, people around the world or other places in the world are going to see you as a villain, because you're a common enemy then to them. It's really, really crazy to think about that in our world.
look at John Walker and Winter Soldier. I mean, he was a star-studded Marine. He saved lives. He played the government role. He let anger take over. He was messed up. I mean, you can see him ticking and all kinds of stuff the whole time. So what makes him a hero that they all visualize? He ended up being the biggest villain ever, and he still screwed up. And that's why that scene with I do not agree with IGN. IGN called John Walker the best character in that show.
No.
I think that was clickbait, honestly. Because come on, I didn't like him. I still don't like him. I don't like not the actor, but the character that they portray. I think John Walker should have had a little bit more justice, especially based off the comics. But we all understand MCU is a completely different universe. But everyone is a hero. Sometimes a villain. Yeah, sometimes villains are heroes. Kingpin is a great example.
Yeah, I love how you talked about this last week, but it fits perfectly here as well.
Yeah, Kingpin he's fighting the fight that no one else wants to fight, but he's doing it his way because no one else is doing anything about it. Does that make him a villain?
That definition right there that you just said, that sentence, could be given to any single hero as well.
Yeah. And vice versa. The things that you're doing as a hero, the steps that you're taking, does that really make you a hero? I think there was, what comic book was it? I think it was a Spider-Man comic. It might have been Miles Morales. The girl was like, I didn't ask to be saved.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Okay. I think it was somebody was trying to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Jump off of a building.
Yeah.
And she's like, I didn't ask to be saved. My life is hell. I go home every day and my husband beats the living crap out of me. And this, that, and the other. I just wanted it to end.
That's a rough one.
What do you do? Oh my God. I don't even know how I would handle that. I'd just be like, I can swing you back up there. Just, no, I wouldn't say that. But honestly, it's just like, what do you do?
But at that point, then you're going to go to the husband's or the boyfriend's house. You're going to beat the ever living crap out of him. But then what does that make you, a bully? Or you're doling out self-justice in that sense. And
the fact that heroes don't ever know both sides of the story.
True.
They only hear one side. They hear the victim and they believe the victim, right? Just like we do. But if you go out there and kill somebody, you kill somebody's son. And on top of that, how does the family cope with that? You think about everything, it's just like, we watch these movies about justice. And I just got through watching, what was it called? Without Remorse. And how he went off and just killed everybody and got revenge. I mean, that was a selfish thing.
Is that the new Michael B. Jordan Amazon Prime? Well, how was that? Sorry.
I thought it was great.
Okay.
There's people that got their opinions. I liked it. Because I knew what I was getting into. I liked it. It's another Jason Bourne movie. It's just not Jason. It's like it's John Kelly.
Bourne movie, just not Jason.
It literally is. Yeah. Dude, it is Tom Clancy. People that don't understand, Tom Clancy is a revenge writer. It always gonna be somebody killing off somebody's family. He's gonna get pissed off, go kill everybody else. It's always that, man. Corrupt government. It's in the video games. People expected something else. I guess because it was Michael B. Jordan. I don't know, but I liked it for what it was. But anyway, that's it's really, you can't really define a hero or villain. It's just a code name for something that we personally take in our own. It's judging. You self-judge immediately. Like Invincible with the clones.
Yeah,
they were put up as a villain. All they wanted to do was steal supplies so they can create, whatever they wanted to do. We didn't know their true meanings of what they wanted to do. They struck a deal. They were men of their words. They helped out Robot, and Robot was like, "You go back to jail." They were like, "Yo, bro, I just helped you, dude. What do you mean?" Like, and oh man, the decision he had to make to throw his brother in front of the gun to save himself. He's like, I'll just make another one.
Oh, that was crazy. That was an interesting one, but you knew something like that was almost going to happen because of just who they are, and then obviously what you're watching. But I'm gonna make another one. Boop. Yeah, I'm number one.
Yeah. Andromeda says, I think anti-heroes like Spawn take it to another level because he's not a hero on purpose. He acts mostly on his self-interest. Andromeda, I think those are the real. I don't want to say the real heroes. I think they're the most realist. I think that's how I would be. I would accept that there are good and evil in the world, and sometimes the good is the ultimate evil. As long as the ultimate evil is a driving force, money, there's always going to be some corruption involved. Who says that I wouldn't be corrupt? If somebody offered me $1 million to not tell a secret that can possibly harm someone, like possibly, not 100%, let's say it's a 50-50 chance that this could go wrong or right. In this day and age, you take the $1 million, right? You're not going to live long.
So you I think last week you said it. Who's your superhero? Like your superhero, not Spider-Man. No. Like your like Adam. You said something. Ion Boy. What was your name?
I just made one.
Oh, okay.
That ain't mine. Yeah, I just made one up.
All right. So then, well, if you were
my superhero that I made, that I'm actually making for a comic book that I'm doing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be working on a Will Snidey is actually going to be helping me with it. It's going to be pretty dope. But the guy is me, eventually. His last name is Enders. And he's a tech dude. He's not really a superhero. Granted, I think I did the class story. He got in an accident. He was in a hospital room. His mom, there was a doctor and said, look, he's not looking too good. I don't think he's ever going to walk again. And his mom was just like, that's my baby boy. It's the only one I have. I need him to live a life that we couldn't have. That's every parent's dream.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I know somebody that can possibly help, but it's untested. It's something that they can help him heal. And, it's a 50-50 chance of working, but are you morally okay with that? And he's like, heck yeah. And so, he gets like regenerative powers or whatever, but he's not a superhero. He's techie. So he builds a suit that enhances his abilities. And of course, we as people are ever evolving. So does he.
Yeah.
He evolves. And not at a speedy rate, but he'll notice that, I'm a little bit stronger today than I was yesterday, and stuff like that. And it's not instantaneous. Yeah, so he'll break bones, he'll mess up,
So
and he will be mentally distraught because saving one person, let's say he pulled a mom and a kid together at the same time and he saved them, but the dog got ran over. You might start off really small like that, and go from there. Or he had to make a decision. It was either the cat or the people, and he, something like that. So not literally, but I'm just saying mentally, you have to choose which is the more important. And that's a hard decision to make because you're not God, you're not perfect. You don't make the right decision. So
I mean, we get what your superpower is then, because we were trying to talk about this earlier, and like always, we go off on our tangents.
I think it would be like regenerative.
What would be your weakness?
I mean, his weakness is he's not a real superhero. He has regenerative powers. He can heal, but it's minor healing stuff. He breaks a bone. He has to set the bone, right? So he has to go through the pain of setting the bone.
You dislocate something, you got to relocate.
Yeah, but it'll regenerate a little bit. It'll regenerate faster than a normal human would, but he gets shot. He could probably die. Like
if it's not
depends
taken
on where
care
he gets
of,
shot in the head, he's dead. So now he has to go through the idea of, okay, how do I protect my head? I need a suit, and I think it was a nano suit that can like construct over his body, and it's light. I wanted to build him in the world kind of like Marvel. If he had, it'd be something similar to vibranium, but
okay,
it'll be a very light suit that has some integrity to it. If he's gonna learn how to run and jump, and eventually he'll be able to jump farther distances and stuff like that. But that suit's gonna have like gravity boots and and stuff
I guess
like that.
I was trying to frame it as obviously him being human is obviously key. Same thing with Iron Man. Like obviously I'm drawing parallels there, but I think one of Iron Man's weaknesses, even though it could also be seen as a strength, is his ego, is his mind.
Yeah.
Right? Like he always thinks he's right, which led to Ultron. It was in the MCU, which led to Ultron and everything like that. Obviously, he was self-sacrificing at end for the greater good, but you could kind of say that. I guess that's where I was kind of going.
But the limitations of his body would be the limitations. Think about the initial shock that he has to go through every time something happens. He falls and hits the ground. He's not used to that. It's like I have breathing problems now because of, unfortunately, I had COVID. And it took a toll on my body. That will happen to him. He hit the ground hard enough. Wow. Oh my God. All the breath gets knocked out of him. I mean, maybe he'll have like a collapsed lung or something at some point. And his powers will barely regenerate back up, but it's not 100% because he doesn't know how to control his regenerative powers. They're spontaneous, stuff like that. His metabolism, how would he deal with that? Where would the healing come from? A lot of humans heal in their sleep. Right, because our body's dormant and it can repair. But what if his repairs while he's active, and how much energy is that stealing from his body? There's stuff like that I would ask. That would be his weakness, and not to mention, his trauma.
Yeah.
PTSD, like all kinds of like mental disorders that might happen to him based off of what he sees and what he does, and that's something that we don't bring up, is that think about how messed up Steve Rogers really is.
Oh man.
If they really wanted to go down that road, all the death he's seen and had to deal with, and people that he couldn't save, and people that died in front of him, or people he potentially killed. We can't go around saying that he threw that shit at somebody's neck and that joke just bounced off and that person was okay the next day. Like, come on, he was throwing his whole body into that shield.
Yeah.
That's a super soldier throwing a shield where it can stick into a tree. Think about what it's doing to people's necks when he's hitting them. He's killing people. So that's something you have to think about. But yeah, that would be my weakness for sure.
Interesting.
Or malfunctions. Somebody coded the suit wrong.
Technology is technology. I mean, as we know it as streamers, everything goes wrong when we try to go live. And now imagine trying to have this crazy technology all over you. You try to put up your boosters mid-flight, everything goes down. That's one
thing I like about Iron Man. How far can I go up? Air is a factor. Like,
freezing temperatures, air, gravity.
What if the internet goes out and I can't GPS my way where I need to go?
Oh my God, yeah.
This is simple limitations
out,
would be his
my
weakness.
Suit's not at 100%. I can't save you today. It's like,
should I have got to charge it? Like, where's your power source come from? Those are questions that they don't answer. They just give people superpowers.
Yep.
I mean, they showed it like Tony Stark did charge his suits up. But he, of course, we had multiple ways, like the piece in his chest and this, that, and the other. But yeah, what if my guy had a suit, how would it power up? Like, how does Black Panther's suit work? And I mean, granted, their technology is so advanced,
kinetic energy and absorption. It's a little bit different.
They had batteries that run for years.
Yeah.
So there's different things. But yeah, that would be it. Let's see. It's now 1:00. Okay. So I think it's good to start talking about comic book series, because at 1:30 we're gonna leave the open floor to you guys. So series that we think you can start if you're trying to get into comics, or if you're already into comics, what series you can, like, long lasting series you can ride. That'll be our next subject. But first, let's briefly talk about the Venom 2 trailer.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll actually show it again next show where we can like break it down. But you go first, Matt. What are your thoughts on it?
So I go back to Venom that came out a couple of years ago as well. Like, Venom is an amazing character. Eddie Brock. Obviously, all the symbiotes, there's some great stories there. And he hasn't really been done justice, obviously, in live action. And I like Tom Hardy. I think he's a really good actor, especially when you watch him in Mad Max and a bunch of other movies he does. But I really didn't go into Venom having expectations. And coming out of it, I was like, okay, it was different. The way they portrayed Venom, the relationship between Eddie and him, how and who Eddie was compared to what we've seen in comic books. I was like, I'm okay. I get away with it. Seeing the trailer, especially the beginning of it, I think they were going a little bit too into the corny comedy, like, and they've seen it because I've watched it, like the Odd Couple type references I've been seeing. I do have expectations for this one, and they're actually really not high. I will say there was some comic to trailer, and I guess what will be in the movies, kind of panel to scene, like it's actually coming to fruition with what happens to how Carnage becomes Carnage, and some of the scenes that were in the trailer, like that I'm intrigued at seeing, but because I got a bad taste in my mouth from the first one, I guess you can kind of say, I'm not a big fan of what I'm going to be seeing or currently seeing right now out of this trailer.
Yeah, I'm not digging it. I hated the beginning of it. The they made him look like he had tentacles, man. Like, and then they looked so Play-Doh to me. But anyway, it just, that scene in general, I know what they're trying to do, but man, Eddie Brock and Venom hated each other when they first got together. Like, they couldn't stand each other because Venom was like, you do things this way. And he was like, no, I'm doing it this way. And he's like, you need me. And then he's like, you need me. You know, it was like that back and forth. And they making Venom out to be like this teddy bear, man. It's weird him going in the shop saying, hey, you know, like so weird to me.
Yeah, that
also him eating people. What? Like what? I don't. Yeah, Venom took a head off a couple of people here and there in the comics, but he didn't eat people whole like it was a nutritional diet that he had to follow. Like, my God, I don't know where they're taking this. I mean, okay, Carnage looked fantastic, graphics wise, for a animated movie. You know, I mean, there's only so much realism that you can put on something that's super CG'd, but well, I mean, even DC's villain in the Snyder Cut looked 1,000 times better than what they're doing.
Steppenwolf and Darkseid, especially in the Snyder Cut, looked a million times better. I guess that's one of the things that I'm not a fan of with this interpretation of it. It was too fake. Like there's the uncanny valley. Like when you're seeing something and you know that it's fake, you're okay with it being fake because you know it. But like this, it's like too.
Yeah.
It's going to that extra level. Like I know it's difficult. It's not Spider-Man swinging on a web like Tom Holland going through New York City. Like there's scenes in there where you know it's fake, and even though it looks a little fake, you're okay with it. Where this, it's kind of hard to do it. It's on a whole different level, and it takes me out of it. And that's what it is. It's taking me out of it.
Yeah. It kind of breaks the immersion, and I want to like it because I love Venom. I love his backstory and stuff, especially what they're doing with Venom now. I think he just deserves better than what they just did. And that's the Sony way. Sony will rush something out to make a buck so fast when it comes to their movies. They don't take the time that they take in their video games. And it's so obvious.
And that's another thing too. We have to realize that and for those watching, right, like this isn't Marvel. Even though it's a Marvel character, and it's an association with Marvel. Yeah. This is not Kevin Feige taking the reins and his team over there and creating this. This is still a Sony-driven movie like the X-Men films before it, the Ghost Rider and Ben Affleck's Daredevil before it. Like,
it feels low budget too. I mean, that's honestly feels like a low budget.
It has that
film.
feel. Like it just, you look at it and it's like, that's Sony. That's not Marvel. Yeah. It's Sony, and it's so crazy because you also see that with DC as well. You watch Aquaman, you watch Wonder Woman, and then you watch Shazam, and you're like, this is different. It's DC, but it's not DC. Like, where you look at the other ones, it's like, okay, yeah, this is, all right, Snyder, it's Warner Brothers, blah, 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 blah. It's Gal Gadot, 1984, it's Warner Brothers. Shazam it's different in a good way compared to this being a not so good way.
Yeah, I mean, I refuse to watch Shazam for the simple fact it looked like crap to me. Just the character alone did not look right. It looked like a cosplay or a Halloween outfit.
Like, actually, you know what, dude? Okay, so please, if you can, I understand those aspects. Obviously, you're gonna have a little more time, hopefully, on your hands now. When you get a chance, watch Shazam, because there's pieces of that movie that obviously, because it's magic, there's things crazy going on. You have the I forget what they call them in the movie, but there's like 7 sins, I believe, that Mark Strong's character kind of whelms, and it's like, you know, they're fake. They are 100% fake. There's no way to bring them in, and it's like that still looks better than what we saw from Venom and even the little sections of Carnage, because, like, I guess Carnage, when I saw Carnage in the trailer, it's kind of like CGI Play-Doh with like a sheen to it, and it just looks weird. It doesn't like make sense. The symbiote effect from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man was 10 times better than what I'm seeing out of it. And that's the crazy thing. It's like the Wolverine.
It look like a symbiote.
I'm sorry, it's like the Wolverine claws, right? From X-Men Wolverine Origins to how he was in the X-Men. It's like, you're fast forwarding 5, 6, 7 years. Why are these claws so fake? Go with what worked in these other movies.
Yeah, I agree.
God, I just remembered that. That was so bad. Those claws.
I don't know. I just think in 2021, when you have something that's so iconic as Venom, you treat it with respect, or you just don't do it at all.
Funny.
or you just give it to I'll probably watch it.
I'm sorry, it was just a funny comment.
I was looking at the camera because I was reminding myself how bad it looked. I was just but a lot of people told me it was good. Definition of good, a lot of people told me Batman versus Superman was good. But it's personal opinions. But when it comes down to Venom, I'm just not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it. I'm gonna see it just like I saw the first one. First one I said, Venom 1, I said, it's a fun film. That's kind of how I left it. It's fun, but they better not bring Spider-Man into this.
So the only thing that I'm hoping is that I had to double check on this, and I don't know if this has been recently removed because I know Sony has been shifting their dates left and right recently. Like Morbius was supposed to come out with Jared Leto this year. It's actually not until next year now. So this says that it's stated for September. They still got some time to clean a lot of stuff up. Obviously, that doesn't mean acting. That doesn't mean what Venom looks like, but maybe a couple of more passes on something I can hope for. I don't know.
My thing is, if Sonic can clean up, they can do it.
Right?
I use them as an example all the time. That was a great movie.
So much. Yeah. It
was a great movie. Yeah. But all right, so comic series that we that you can start off with and get into. Obviously, I'm going to play devil's advocate here and tell you to get into comic book series that you normally would not. I don't want you to you can start off with Spider-Man and all that. So you can start with, they're not really that great early on. I'm gonna be honest, Spider-Man didn't really come out of his shell until like Ultimate Spider-Man. Spectacular is that's a ride. Amazing and Spectacular, you're gonna be so lost. You're gonna need a roadmap, honestly. I think you start with Ultimate if you gotta go Spider-Man, but I would say do Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is very underrated. The comic makes a lot of sense. You'll start understanding how the universe works, and I think if you understand how the universe works, everything else is going to fall in place, like multiverses, the cosmics, all that stuff, the infinity, the stones, all that stuff will make sense, and then you can start bouncing around with everything else. I think Doctor Strange is a really good one to start with. He's fun, he's intelligent. You'll enjoy Cumberbatch playing him in a movie. If you need motivation to find out who Doctor Strange is, if you haven't watched the movie, I highly suggest you doing it, especially before Multiverse of Madness comes out, because that's gonna be great. And just read those comics. I also would suggest Venom. Venom is very honestly, I'm starting to like Venom more than like Peter Parker.
So which Venom though? Because there is a lot of Venoms.
There's a lot.
Obviously, just like there's a lot of Batman and Superman and Robins and Spider-Man. There's 4 different names for Spider-Man: Amazing, Super, Superior, etc. Actually, that was a great series with Doc Ock. Yeah, that was fantastic. That storyline. What Venom story or series?
I think the newer Venoms, the origin stories, right now. Is a great way to start, because you can always bounce out later, because the origin stories, you'll be asking those questions reading the old ones, like where the hell did Venom come from? Like, he came out of space, okay? Like on Mars they just got inky substance or something, but like if you look at the stuff now, oh my god, dude, this Venom goes way back, bro.
Venom's been around for a very long time. People don't recognize that.
I'm just saying, just the symbiotes in general go back to medieval times. Like, it's before creation. Everyone thought that he just came from the moon or some shit. Nah, this dude goes back from creation, okay? And like the whole way he was created, it's almost like a vampire story. It's pretty interesting. And that there's a daddy symbiote. There's a daddy.
Yeah, right?
That controls all these things, and Venom actually is trying to escape that daddy. So that's all I'm going to give you. Pretty damn amazing. It's the darkest that Marvel's went. Like they allowed. They went super dark on Venom. And you'll see Peter Parker in there. You may even see Miles here and there, but that series is really, really good. It's taken off. I don't know where I read probably like the first, 30, 40 of them. I haven't really gone too deep into it, but if you had to have an anti-hero, that would be good. Those are my 2 choices on the Marvel side. And after Matt gives his, I'll talk about some DC.
As far as really side note, actually, one other thing that I actually did like them bringing into Venom trailer, was Ravencroft. Seeing that was actually kind of cool. That's just the geek inside of me, right? For DC, for me, I really do think, and we talked about it before, like if you want to get into something that is a gripping story, told very well, and it's not just like a quick one shot. Actually, the Batman Long Halloween is, and we're already in May. I mean, it's going to be Halloween before it. That story and detective work that he needs to do throughout, it really gives you a great insight into the character and what old school Batman was, being the actual greatest detective. And obviously the rogues gallery that's inside of it and the story arc, not to, go crazy with it, was just absolutely beautiful. Some pieces of it was also used mildly because Christopher Nolan loved it so much in the Nolan series. And then obviously, you know me, I'm just like your Spider-Man. I'm a huge Superman fan. He's my cuckoo. DC, like Lars said, I'm a DC fanboy. Birthright for Superman is a great series as well. Mark Waid does it. It's a great telling of the origin of Superman, Clark Kent, the Kent Farm, Metropolis, Lois Lane. It's two different ones because Long Halloween Batman, you get to see him as a detective, but you get an interesting full-on look and take on who Superman is and where he comes from. Those would be two cool reads, I would think, kind of like yours as Spider-Man and Venom.
Yeah, I think Doctor Strange.
I'm sorry, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it's all good. If you want to get into Spider-Man, I'll give suggestions, but it's I would say just read Miles Morales for now if you really want to get into Spider-Man. And because I think Ultimate Spider-Man is the way you should go. I think he's more true to Spider-Man, I believe, than any other Spider-Man, even though Amazing Spider-Man was, quote unquote the original. But once you get into the clone series and stuff, it just becomes a mess. It's not really written that well. Court of Owls, man.
Oh God, how could I forget that? Yeah,
Court of Owls. When it comes to DC, I like focusing on like the stuff behind the the vigilantes. But Court of Owls is just, once you get into that, I think that's what's going to open the world for DC people that want to get into DC, or even people that are not DC fans. Court of Owls is very, very cool. It's very cool, very really dark. There's a lot of intertwining stuff to go about inside that's going to really mess you up mentally.
The whole arc of really what the Court of Owls is and who they are. There's things that you could say about today. Like there's definitely some parallels, and I'm happy that you brought that up because that is a fantastic series. I don't know how I completely forgot about that.
I want a movie on the Court of Owls. Honestly, if they come out a movie and it's called The Court of Owls, dude.
So side note, chat, we're going to kind of talk about it next week, but that is actually one thing that I loved about Gotham Knights, that little teaser at the end for it. Oh, no,
I actually screamed about that. I was like, man. Okay. Yeah, I was like, all right, you got my attention. Yeah. All right, now you got me.
But actually on the Marvel side for me too, that I remember like really going into and reading was, we keep on talking about it, but I remember going out to the comic book shops, waiting to see where they're going on with the story. The original OG Civil War series, I think was really, really a fun, and game changing in some instances for Marvel for what they were doing and how they were going to run things. And then also, the original Uncanny X-Men series, those were some fun reads. I remember going through those. Those were, I'm sorry, not Uncanny, excuse me, Ultimate X-Men. It was Ultimate X-Men. That was a fun read series as well, just because, I mean, outside of Superman and like Spider-Man, I would say like Wolverine is a amazing character, and I love him, so I have to go with X-Men on that one.
Yeah. There was something you brought up and I was like, oh yeah.
I brought up Civil War.
Oh, Civil War. Yeah. Nothing else out of that. But yeah,
what did I say? Civil War,
skip 2 and 3 because those are dumb. 3 is really dumb. Civil War 3 is just
just I'm not even talking about 3. I'm just like the original arc of the Civil War. Like that one for me was the best. I thought 2 and 3 were like throwaways for me because they were just trying to.
3 was horrible.
They were trying to rebring everything.
A comic book 1 or maybe it was over 3 comics, but still, it was still horrible.
Death of Superman still holds up because that's the death and rebirth of Superman in comic books brought death into comic books, and then it killed death in comic books. That's how powerful it was.
I think Spider-Man is really good because you get to meet the inheritors.
Yeah.
The people that hunt Spider-Man and like just to eat him. Sick.
Which is wild.
It's awesome because in the latest Inheritors comics, people die. Spider-Man's die, okay? Brutally. And I was literally like, I was at work reading that stuff at the time, and I was like, oh my God, no, they did not. The people the people that they kill off in that, you'll never ever believe that they would do.
You know, that's actually a great comment, and actually Ghetto says it in chat. You know, this is great. I'm just getting back into comic books, and this is a really big help for those that want to get in back into comic books or are collecting now and looking through different avenues. I mean, it's you know, in the back of the head, oh, I got to go to a comic book store to pick it up. I mean, yeah, you can if you want to get out of the house for a little bit, but there's other mediums and areas for you to get comic books. It's not just the tangible comic book anymore. There's different ways you can get it. There's digital books. I believe Marvel has their own app, right?
Yeah, they have 2 apps. They have one that's free and one that's paid.
Yeah, and then you have, is Comixology still a thing?
Yeah, Comixology is another one too. I bought the whole Black Panther series, like 168 comics for like $10. But when Chadwick Boseman passed away, they did a huge deal. Actually, no, they gave away. No, it was more. It was like 200 and something comics for free. It wasn't $10. It was free. And I downloaded all of them. Me and my wife had to go somewhere, and I was like, I just downloaded them all. I have them all on a Comixology account. And you can print them out if you really wanted to. I mean, printing paper save trees, but yeah, DC has their app. There's tons. Yeah, Comixology is probably one of the better ones because they have really big deals. They really be giving away comic series for free, and these comic series are like,
and they hit everything. They hit everything too. So, like, if for instance, I brought it up before. I know we're talking Marvel and DC, but if you're or grew up a fan of Power Rangers and you want to get back into it, I mean, they just recently had, as a couple of years ago, the Shattered Grid. It's an awesome story arc for you OG Power Rangers fans like myself, because it gives you a different look into what the grid is and where the multiverse of Power Rangers are coming from and powers and what happens if a good guy was actually bad. It's a very, very awesome story. So Comixology would probably be one of the ones I would tell you to go through if you want to get pretty much a little bit of everything.
Yeah, let me see what the name of these. I have so many apps on my phone. But yeah, I think let the TV shows and the movies be your motivation, but the comics be your salvation, so to speak, because you're gonna get so much dirt out of the comics and so much more lore. I have a Marvel folder on my phone.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah. That's just Marvel.
Did you see the speaking of Marvel, did you see more actors and actresses are coming out about Wakanda Forever, saying that this script is fantastic? It's something that we haven't seen or wouldn't think of, but it's beautiful. They're really hyping this movie up, and it's scaring me, to be honest with you.
I'm not. They hyped up Wakanda. I mean, they hyped up Black Panther, and that shit was glorious.
It was. It was.
I'll take it. At this point, it's Marvel.
That's what I wanted to say. Did you see? I mean, listen. I know that there was always the saying and the cliche of you can bet on anything, right? Do you see that right now? There's actually sites. We don't condone this or whatever you're supposed to say with it. There's sites taking bets on Shuri being the odds-on favorite to take over the mantle of Black Panther.
Of course.
I didn't realize that.
It's in the series.
No, I know, but
yeah, Shuri was that made her. That girl's been an actress for a while. That made her. Like she got picked up by so many. She's super good at what she does. Her personality was dead on. Like the relationship between her and Chadwick Boseman was just phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
And not even to shy on Lupita, because Lupita's amazing.
Oh yeah, she was fantastic.
And what's her face? I forgot her name. Oh my God, the girl from Walking Dead. I forgot her name. All of them were just great. I mean, Angela Bassett, you name it. But Shuri, the girl that played Shuri, that was amazing. Yeah, but Shuri is Black Panther for a very long time because he abandoned them. So in the comic, just dipped out, like bye. So he abandoned them, and I don't know how they're gonna portray it. I'm pretty sure they're not gonna do the abandoned part of it. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be off to do something, and They might get word of him not coming back or getting hurt or possibly passing. I mean, who knows what they're going to do with that, because they're not going to replace him. So,
man, if they do that, the passing part of
Kevin already said there's no way they're recasting Black Panther. Yeah, it's going to be a new story.
Yeah, T'Challa. They're not recasting T'Challa,
and they're doing a Dora Milaje series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that's a whole different sect. Because once Black Panther goes off, they made their own army to protect, along with Shuri, and it was all and there's some real deep turmoil happening in Wakanda. They make Wakanda look like a whole big nice thing that's going on, but there's a thing going between women and men in Wakanda, and you'll see that how men treat women and all that stuff. So they actually made that a big deal, because that's a big thing big deal in Africa. Is it's like men are the strong and women are the obedient, and so that's stuff that's going to be brought up, and it's going to be pretty sick when it happens. I'm really excited about it. Yep. But yeah, those are the two apps: Marvel Unlimited and Marvel Comic app. The Marvel Comic app, I think you need your Marvel account for, but I think Unlimited, they have a free version and a paid version. And a paid version just means that you get to read the comics when they come out fresh. Well, you have to wait a while for the free version, but there's so many comics out there. Don't pay for it. I mean, unless you're just like, I have to read this series. Yeah. Because I had to read Ironheart because I was so excited for Riri Williams, and then the writing just went down the toilet and flushed. And I mean, now they have a new person doing it that is very relatable, and so I need to pick it up again and see if Ironheart picks up. But yeah, I think and a good thing about comics, you can start wherever. You don't have to start. I would say start issue 1 of a series, so you're not lost. But it's always good to dabble in the middle of a series sometimes and find out if it's interesting, because you're in the meat and potatoes. You're like, I really don't give a crap about Anti-Venom. What the heck is this? Sorry, spam call.
No,
what the heck is this?
Yeah, yeah. And DC also has their paid service as well too. It's just regular DC Comics, and then there's I think it's or DC Comics, and it's DC Infinite Universe, I believe it's called. Yeah. But once again, if you want to try to get everything all in one shot, Comixology also does it as well too. But I think we're actually at the point of the show, since we got about 10 minutes left, at least for this week's episode. If you have any questions, boys and girls, for us regarding anything we talked about today, even a couple of sneak peeks out there. Actually, one thing I actually have to say, please let us know in chat. One of the cool things that we just, that I don't know if you saw, it seems like What If is going to be in August. So if that actually holds through, we got July, August, and then September filled. I'm sorry, June, July, August, and September filled with Marvel TV shows and things to talk about, with Loki. Then obviously the Black Widow movie, if it is August sometime, we'll have What If, and then September is Shang-Chi, which I really need to, and we need to figure out when we can talk about this. I want to talk about the 10 Rings, because there's so much going on there with the history when you're talking about the symbiotes, with what the actual 10 Rings are in the universe of the Marvel universe, and how they're how it's not rings now, they're actually rings around the wrist. Like I really want to talk about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna talk about it. You say you want to talk about it now? Next.
No. If future shows, but like that's one of the questions. So chat, what questions do you have for us regarding what we just talked about today? What's up, chat, for those of us just rating? How you doing? Let's see. I mean, we talked about a lot of cool things today, obviously. We talked about movies, we talked about TV, we talked about strengths and weaknesses, bringing it back to real world. If you and I essentially were superheroes, obviously in Invincible, once again, chat, I know we brought up some things. We're going to talk about the season finale of Invincible next week, so definitely catch up. All 8 episodes are out there now. They range anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes, give or take. I don't think they go above an hour. There's a bunch more things that we could talk about that get crazy, and we're also going to start talking about video games next week as well. Have you guys read Batman White Knight arc? I didn't read it fully. Obviously, being a DC fanboy like yourself, Lars. The White Knight arc is very interesting as well because it's a unique take on it. But like I said a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things what I'm happy that we talked about today is I'm getting back into comic books. I always have been a comic book fan, just like many things in life, like Frank will also tell you too, life. I'm actually appreciative of your opinions and thoughts as well. And White Knight, I remember starting and not finishing. So I'm going to be doing that in addition to reading the new Venom series that are out there that Frank just said.
Yep. Excited about the Black Widow movie. Yeah, same. I am. I think the cast is very pretty.
Yeah, it's weird, right, though? Because this is our first, after everything, it's a prequel. I mean, and it's our first dive into a movie Marvel since Spider-Man in July. Wait, when was it? July of 2019 or December of 2019? Yeah. It's going to essentially
I think it's July.
Yeah, it's good. And it comes out in July. It's literally going to be 2 years since we have seen a Marvel movie. And it's essentially, it is not essentially, it's a prequel. It's strange to me. It's strange, but it's all just obviously what's going on in our real world. But I'm excited to see it. I like the character and I love the characters that are in there with Red Guardian.
I mean, I hate that it killed Black Widow. I don't like the way she went.
True.
I really hope that this story leads to something saying that how she could possibly come back or that, or something. I don't know. Hopefully for them to have a prequel and for them to be pulling it back so much, I honestly think there's something in that story that's not just like we miss you type. I think there's something there that's going to show something down the line. Maybe it leads to Doctor Strange. Maybe she finds out something she knows.
Okay.
That could possibly happen. Maybe that's why she kept enforcing that she's the one that should take this jump.
She's the one, yeah.
So I'm hoping that's the correlation because I mean she was just like, and just fall off, and I'm just like, but it's Black Widow.
Yeah, I mean she's the badass character. I hope they don't do what they've done with just about every single Marvel villain. Taskmaster is such an awesome character. Yeah. They better not do a Marvel and kill him off. He better go to the raft and be part of whatever crazy plan that Elaine is doing, Madam Hydra, because Taskmaster is an awesome character.
I think they're setting up for something big. Because like I said, Hydra was just a side thought that like if you saw it, you saw it. If you missed it, you missed it. I mean, their emblems are everywhere, and they're like Easter egging the hell out of Hydra right now.
Thunderbolts,
yeah. I'm interested in that. What are your thoughts about Lizzo shooting her shot at Captain America via DM? She was drunk. This is drunk DMs.
Wait, what did I miss? Wait, where is that?
You can just look it up, I guess. It's just Lizzo DMing Chris Evans. She was drunk. And Chris Evans is such a cool dude. He understands. He's like, drunk DMs happen, whatever. But I mean, he's America's ass.
Ha! True. True.
I did a post the other day saying, depending on the company or the person, should you actually shoot your shot when you feel like you have no chance? And the answers were yes. So you can't hate it. Sometimes people use drinks to make them extra brave. I don't know. But the fact that he saw it and he responded, I mean, hell, I think she got her answer. I mean,
that was good.
Anyway, sorry, Mr. Let's see. Okay, never mind.
We didn't do a versus today, Wolf. We didn't do a versus today. We're gonna be ending streams on a couple of different areas. Last week was a versus. This week was introductory to comics. What are some of the series out there that we think we would recommend you dive into? Next week will be something different, and so on and so forth. But we'll be getting back to versus in this kind of on a rotation thing here. Keep you on your toes, chat.
Yeah. We'll have a fun one coming up. That's gonna be like the silliest heroes that were made by DC and Marvel that are OP. Stuff like that. And every week we try to introduce something different. We're gonna eventually rotate them. There'll be another versus. That's the great thing about having so many heroes that we can do it with.
Who would you like to see in versus, chat? There you go. That's another one.
Yeah, who would you like to see in versus? Yeah. Like I said, leave comments. Every time we go Rare Drop CO on Twitter. When you see us post the comic the recap, whatever.
Should be Monday, give or take, in the afternoon. Yep.
Yeah, let us know. Say, hey, we would love to see verses between Spider-Man or whatever that Spider Boy is in DC, or Static Shock versus Miles Morales or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some really good things you could do. Captain America versus Batman, whatever you want to do like that. That would be actually an interesting fight.
That would be an interesting fight. That's an interesting one.
Man. But yeah, so the reason why we got like 3 more minutes of the show, if you guys have anything. I mean, typically the show is like an hour and 45 minutes, and we normally get 15 minutes to talk, which ends it at 2. But I gotta get ready for St. Jude stuff and some other things happening. So hopefully today is a really, really fun day, and I have to finish Resident Evil 8. Oh god, that game is destroying me.
How far did you get in it?
I don't want to spoil it, but I saw something very disturbing. I'm in the second house.
Okay, I'm past you. Yeah, I'm. Oh my god, are you talking about wait? Is the second house the doll? Baby. Oh god, baby. Yeah, that was.
That gave me anxiety. No, beyond belief. I had to stop. I had to turn it off.
No, I
don't like it.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't like dolls. I don't like things chasing me.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, that was. It is a real. I will say it is. I like when you look at Resident Evil 1 through 4 compared to where we are on 7 and 8 now. I like this change. It's definitely like revitalized it for me, and it's definitely scary. I'm almost in the end game. I think I'm gonna finish on Monday. It's a fun game.
I want to be in the end game. I want to be done, dude.
You just
bro. I just saw that on what was it called? Village of Ravens or something. Whatever the last. The hardest difficulty.
Oh yeah, I don't. It's kind of like
bro. The game is different. I saw. Okay, so are you playing on standard?
Yeah, I played on standard. Yeah.
Okay, so you know how Madam D or Lady D just follows you around inside in a sort. She follows you everywhere, bro.
She won't go into certain rooms. I read.
No.
Oh no. Nope, that's impossible. Outside.
Nope. She goes everywhere. No. I was like, what?
That's a completely different game.
Somebody posted it today, and she was like, because you got the little vampire people outside, little failed experiments or whatever. Yeah. She's like slapping them and she's killing them. Like she's just walking, pushing them out the way. And she follows you everywhere. I was like, dude, no.
Yeah, there was also a lot of mods too, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, and I heard that baby is actually in the castle at one point.
No.
Yeah, I'm done. I was like, nah, I'm doing standard and we'll be done and I'll never touch it again. See, I played 7 on the hardest setting and I beat it. I don't know how I did it, but back then I was more conditioned for scary stuff because we would always do scary games. Not now.
Now it's been a while.
I'm a little older now. Heart doesn't work that way.
So you're gonna be going live here in a little bit, doing some more for St. Jude. You said
it's gonna be I'm trying to go live by 2:00. Because I need to set some stuff up and tweet and all that good stuff. So that's the plan. Oh my gosh, oh lordy.
For those of you who don't know, Technique is raising money for St. Jude on his channel, and once again, congratulations to him being full time now as of Friday. Outside of today, I think you're streaming on Tuesday then or Monday?
Tuesday through Friday. So I take Mondays off for now. I don't know what my schedule is going to be. We're still trying to figure that out, but there's always going to follow the Twitter. Oh, by the way, yeah, Matt, give your socials.
Yeah, so great thing is for those of you watching on stream right now, a VOD, or if you're listening to us on a podcast forum starting on Monday, on stream, it's right below our names. For me specifically, at Nighthawk Play, spelled with the Z, that's everywhere. Facebook, of course, Twitter, that I post to a lot, Instagram, TikTok, my Twitch ID that I stream daily on as well. You could find me always chatting and everything on there. We stream weekly, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then Saturdays as well. But that's a little bit of a change, obviously, recently right now with the Commix. We are also raising money for St. Jude for the remainder of the month right now. So if you got an opportunity, come on by and check us out, as well as Frank. He's raising some money too. Frank?
Yeah. I mean, the best place to find out what the heck's going on with me is Twitter. And that's right down below. And if you're listening on the podcast, it's at Technique, no U, no E, just a Q at the end, TV.
I love how you have
on
that
Twitter.
down.
On Twitch is Technique with no U, no E. But yeah, Twitter's the best place to find me and find out what I'm doing because I am now full time, as I announced yesterday. And it's a big change for me. So the schedule will be changing weekly due to me experimenting to see what time zone is good for me. I'm going to be doing a lot of research and finding out what's a good fit for my content during a certain time zone, because that stuff actually matters when there's hundreds of thousands of streamers. And once we find that out, I'll have a set schedule. But for now, just check Twitter. You'll always know when I go live. I'll literally always post when I go live. I just don't put my link. My link is in the bio. If you want to follow me on Twitch, feel free. We have it's a good time. It's a chill stream
because a good old algorithm.
It's very, it can get crazy sometimes in a good way. We always try to keep it positive. The community is very open and very welcoming. So don't be afraid. Don't freak out if you come in the chat and say hi and like 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 people saying hi to you. That's just how they are. Or how we are, I should say. We're gonna be playing, we're doing some St. Jude stuff, playing Resident Evil 8. I'm gonna get that out of there early. Probably spend like 2 or 3 hours on that. Hopefully, my heart can take it. After that, we're gonna be jumping into some. I don't know actually. There's Phantasy Star Online 2. New Genesis beta is out. We're kind of checking that out here and there. I don't know if I'm gonna be like spending a lot of time on it, but Hood later at 10 p.m. It'll be Hood with some friends. The new Hood game that's like Robin Hood and you know all those guys. It's actually pretty fun. But other than that, St. Jude. It's the St. Jude day. I'm taking my day of celebration. I think we have front page on Twitch as well. So we'll be having our celebration today. But I'm doing it at St. Jude. It's about the kids are way more important than I am. We can always celebrate me, but the kids. Yep. This season is. I have story. I'll be telling stories in chat about my visits to the summit and
ooh, I want to hear those.
Happened and why
I
it's so
haven't been
important.
there yet. I can't wait. Hopefully in the next year or two, once everything gets better,
it's a life-changing experience.
I know I'm gonna get out of there. I'm gonna be crying, like I'm gonna be bawling, but I'm gonna be there for story time, definitely.
It's a life-changing experience, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's yeah, if you want to hear my side of the story, just come by. But anyway, that's it.
We got to get out of here, chat.
Yep. That's episode 3. We'll see you next week on episode 4. That's next week, Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Yep. So next Saturday, May 22nd, we will be back here live at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got a couple of cool things we're going to talk about. Should we give them a quick tease before we get out of here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about, we kind of talk about it briefly. We're going to be talking about why is there a gap between games in popular, why are there gaps between comics and games, release dates, things like that. We kind of brought it about briefly with Gotham Knight. We're going to hopefully talk about Jupiter, winky face, smiley face.
Yeah.
I'll
at least watch episode 1.
Get into the last episode of Invincible, and then obviously more of your questions, your comments, and fun shenanigans at the end.
Yep. And we might have some more tangible stuff to look at as well. Maybe we'll look at the Venom trailer together and see what we're talking about. And we can always get that. But yeah, thank you so very much, guys, for hanging out. That's a wrap on episode 3, and we appreciate all of you. And make sure you tune into Commix next week and tell your friends and family about it. And see you on the mix next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.